So I've pretty much finished rebuilding the back end, but I need a new diff gasket and I'm waiting for that to come. I've already ordered it. So today, rather than rebuilding the back end to take it all apart again to get the diff out, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to work on the centre section of the Savage. So I'm probably going to unbolt the TVPs, take the front off for now and just leave that and focus cleaning the centre section. I'm going to try and see if I can get the engine to turn over as well, and I'm just going to check out the gearbox and make sure that is looking to work correctly. Right, so I've just quickly taken both the TVPs off and separated all of the bits in the middle out, left the front in the garage. So I've got the TVPs here. They seem pretty good. I've still got the exhaust hanger and the steering throttle linkage attached, sorry. So yeah, I've got the radio box with the throttle servo and steering servo. You can see there's the front centre drive shaft there, gearbox. Got the engine out, fuel tank was out already anyway, and there's the exhaust over there. So I haven't got the lid for the radio box, and it's quite interesting that the radio box has the screws in that go in the top of the steering rack. Like the screws from here going straight into the top of the steering posts. There weren't any coming into the steering post from the bottom, so I'm presuming that's incorrect and that those were missing, but I've got tons of screws anyway, so I should be able to find some. So I think what I'm going to do first is probably sort the engine out and then sort the radio box out and the electronics, check that they work, and then do the gearbox last. So let's get started on the engine. I need to unmount it, take the clutch bell off and get the rust off that. And then I might take the exhaust off as well, and I'm definitely going to take the air filter off and give the foam a clean. So we'll do that next. So I've got the engine out now. As you can see, I've got the head and the head button there, and I'll just show you the inside of here. It'll actually see inside of there. It looks pretty good actually. There's not much wear at all, it's pretty shiny, piston's pretty clean. Let me just get a light on that a second. There you go. So it looks pretty good in there. Seems to be a 4+1, obviously for the exhaust, on the F4.6 engine. Carburetor looks pretty clean inside as well. So yeah, I'm going to continue stripping it down. The clutch looks pretty good, so that's nice. It doesn't look too worn at all. The engine does turn over pretty nicely. I sprayed some WD-40 in it the other day. So yeah, it's turning over nicely now. It isn't actually stuck. The piston was just stuck at top dead centre, so once I'd put a bit of oil down there with a WD-40 and turned it over with a flywheel, it was perfectly fine. So I'll continue stripping the engine down. I'm going to have to get a new air filter because the one was all mushy and horrible, it all fell apart. So I'm going to get a new air filter for it as well. So there you can see in the back of the engine, it's pretty clean in there. Did have a bit of sort of gunge from some old after-on oil, but I've cleaned it up now and turns over nice and smoothly. Got good compression as well. So yeah, pretty nice. I'm going to put the back plate on now. There's the back plate. And there's the rotor start with the one-way bearing. So I've cleaned pretty much everything up now. The engine is almost done. All I need to do with the engine is clean up the clutch bell, which still has some rust on it. I'm going to take it off again and do that with a Dremel, and then thread lock it all together properly. I need some new cable ties on here. I'm going to put a new air filter on, and then that should be good to go once that's all together. I've just done the outside of the gearbox quickly, not a particularly good job. I'm going to strip it all down tomorrow and clean it properly, and same with the radio box as well. I've just given it a sort of quick dusting off. So this servo doesn't even have any screws in, the steering servo on the bottom, so I'm going to have to get some screws for that, but I've got loads of screws. I don't even know if it works, but it doesn't sound stripped, so hopefully that works. I'll test that tomorrow as well once I've done stripping down the gearbox. So yeah, this bit is going to continue for another day. Again, I'm mainly focused on the engine today, but I'm glad it's working. It's definitely worth putting the extra time and effort in to make sure everything is done correctly. So yeah, I guess see you tomorrow. So today I've taken the transmission apart, as you can see, and inside it is absolutely mint. So 2 metal gears on the top, obviously the spare gear goes on that shaft there. Then we have the first and second gear here. The bigger one is the first gear, which is obviously on a one-way bearing, which you can see there. Spins freely that way, but that way it'll spin the whole shaft. Then we've got second gear here with the clutch inside it, if you can see that there. And then in the bottom there's just a single gear down there, which goes onto that metal gear there. First and second gear are plastic on a Savage. They're all metal in the Hyper MT, so yeah, it's not quite as nice as the Hyper MT gearbox. There's a bit of slop in the gears, but I've got it all cleaned up, and yeah, it's mint inside. It doesn't look like it's been run that much. The gears aren't really worn at all, so just going to put it straight back together again. I've only really taken the top bit off and the spare gear off just to clean it, and this rubber cover off as well for adjusting the transmission. I've also got 2 fiberglass brakes opposed to one steel one like you get on the Hyper MT, and obviously it's got 3 brake pads, 2 on the outside and 1 in between those, which go on those bolts, which bolt into the side of the gearbox there. The brake is quite interesting on the Savage. So on the Hyper MT it has a cam system which has a rod from the throttle linkage which goes down, and then it turns the cam which pushes the brake disc thing, or the brake pad, against the disc. And then on the Savage it has this little cam system here. So if you can see that little brass bushing bit there, when this bit here, silver bit, turns, that brass bushing pushes out, which pushes the brake against the discs. So that's interesting, a little bit different. So yeah, that's it. There's not really much show here. I'm going to put it all back together because the drive cups were thread locked in. So I'm definitely going to put it back together with those thread locked in so they don't come out. And there we go, that is the gearbox all back together. Brake assemblies on with both disc brakes and spare gears on. I've set the slipper clutch about 3/4 of a turn out. Not sure what it says in the manual. I've thread locked both the drive cups now, so they should stay on a bit better. Now next up, what I want to do is test the steering servos. So here I have my steering servo test vehicle, which is my HPI Nitro MT. Got it hooked up to the Fly Sky FSB6 receiver, up to the Fly Sky GT5 remote, and I've got a HPI 1200 mAh hump pack here. I'm not going to hook it up to the switch, I'm just going to plug it in to turn it on. So if I just get to the correct model on the remote, there we go, and plug this in. Should go that way around. You can see it's now on. And does the steering work? Yeah, steering seems to work pretty well on the throttle. There's the brake. Don't know how well you can see that there, I'll just zoom in a bit. There we go. There's the steering servo and throttle. Wow, amazing. So they both work nicely, so that is good. So there we go, now the steering servo is secured in nicely with some stainless steel Allen bolts with washers underneath so that they don't crush it. I haven't done it in mega tight either because this steering servo probably isn't the strongest, but hopefully it's adequate to steer the wheels. This one already had screws, so it's already screwed in. I'm not going to touch that one. So yeah, that's it for the centre section now. We've done the gearbox, engine, front drive shaft, roll cage thing, roll hoop, and the radio box. So I guess it's time to start rebuilding the front. I also forgot to mention that these came in the post today, the diff gaskets, so I can rebuild both the front and rear diff properly with the gaskets and 30,000 weight oil. So I'll probably do that after I've taken the front apart and cleaned that, and then I'll rebuild both the front and rear differential with oil in them. So rather than start on the front end today, I decided to put the rear end back together. So as you can see, it's all back together, nice and clean. Got 1 TVP on as well, and the reason why I haven't put the other TVP on yet is because it will be easier to get the front in at the same time, and I'm also going to get a pull start for the engine so that I can start it, because I haven't got a rotor start at the moment. So I'm going to get a pull start for the engine, I'm going to get a lid for the box and the air filter. So I'm not bolting the engine in yet, so I'm just going to leave that gap in there for now, and I'm going to start working on the front end tomorrow instead. So it's kind of half built up, still got the front end to go.